In this video, we're talking about the most important parts of the sales funnel process. If you want to build a sales funnel that effortlessly converts audience members into your funnels, you're gonna love this one. So let's get into the most important parts of the sales funnel process. First, we're going to dive into the 4 most important parts of the sales funnel process, and in doing so, I want to talk to you about the number 1 way to be seen as the undeniable leader in your field. Lastly, I want to show you my don't miss the bus strategy that's going to push your audience past any objection, give them a reason to act, and convert them to quickly becoming paying clients. First, let's talk about the 4 most important steps of the sales funnel process. The first step is awareness. This is awareness on both sides. Your awareness about who your audience is, and your audience's awareness about you and the problems that you solve for them. In any business, no matter what niche or industry you're in, it is so important and you need to know your demographic. Who's your target audience? Where do they live? What are their problems? What are their pain points? Their age, their income, those kinds of really important details so that you can cater your content to speak to them so that they resonate with it. And when they resonate with that, that's how they'll be able to give you that market feedback so you know further what they want. That awareness of your demographic, knowing what they need, is going to help you in all of your messaging and your sales funnels. Now, that awareness needs to go both ways. What I mentioned with getting that immediate market feedback is that if you're putting out a message and your audience is just ghosted, like there's no response to it, we're gonna have to tweak that messaging. But when you find that your audience is super engaged and they're loving what you're saying, or things are converting really well, that gives us the direction to keep going into. So the awareness on both sides is gonna be so important to optimize your funnel, optimize your message, and your conversion. So as a summary, you're understanding their needs, their pain points, their interests, so that you can speak to that and dial in that message. I'd love to know, what audience do you serve? Leave me a comment below describing your audience in 1 to 2 sentences, maybe what makes them unique, and that knowing that you can serve them better. The second step of the sales funnel process is interest, that you're gauging interest, and that is what is going to lead to generating leads. Once you know who your audience is, then you can point them in the right direction of your sales funnel, offering something that is going to pique their interest, something that they want, that's going to solve their problems, it's going to make them opt in or purchase what you have to offer. When you create that interest, whether it's your sales page copy, whether it's a video, it's the messaging that's so important. And how you pique that interest is through a concept that I've learned from Russell Brunson: hook, story, offer. And this can be in your content, it can be in your sales page copy. And the way you do this is by capturing their attention through an engaging hook or a headline. From that hook or headline, that's where you can segue into a story. Now, this can be your personal story. It can be a story that is something that you've heard, something that you've experienced through someone else. It can also be maybe something that's trending, something that's popular in the media right now, something that they can resonate with, that speaks to them wherever they're at. From that story, that's where you're evoking an emotion. When people feel emotionally invested, that's what they need before they're able to financially invest. So when they hear that story, they feel like they can resonate with you. They're in alignment with your values, or you paint a picture for them of the future-based cause that they want to walk towards with you. They want to be part of your movement. That's what's going to make them more likely to buy. And that's where we transfer into the offer. Hook, story, offer. Then that's where you can give them that call to action. This is one of the biggest parts about being seen as the undeniable expert, the leader in your field. The other thing that this is like the most important part of this video that I can share with you right now is that when you are speaking about your expertise, you have to include proprietary names, your own unique mechanisms to whatever it is that you're teaching. Let me give you an example of this. I had a client that came to me. He was a peak performance coach, and he needed to translate his business from being on stages and in person with people. Of course, things changed in 2020, that he needed to now translate this into an online business. And so he wanted to make a front-end offer, a course that was about peak performance. He was going to call it a mindset challenge. I encouraged him to think differently about giving it a specific name, something that would align with his branding, that would create this enticing branding, and something that people would connect to him thinking, I can never learn this anywhere else. Like peak performance, mindset, I can Google that. I can read a book, I can watch a YouTube video on that. There's tons of content about that. Even if it's still about mindset and peak performance, what is your strategy? What is your unique way of providing that value? And so it took some time, but what we came up with was, instead of a mindset challenge, it became the 21-day subconscious reset challenge. Now, hopefully hearing that, you think, That's interesting. Like, what is the subconscious reset? How do I get that? It's not something that maybe you could just Google and find from anybody. It's only this client of mine, Wayne Lee, that does this. And not only that, in the subtext of the Subconscious Reset Challenge was he's teaching his proprietary strategy, his proprietary system, his mental endgame activation system. Hopefully just hearing that piques your interest. It raises your eyebrows and perks up your ears thinking, what is that? I want to learn more. I haven't even sent you to a full sales funnel to read all the rest of the copy. All I'm telling you is the title of this that shows your proprietary messaging in this unique mechanism. So think about that when you're creating your offer and your sales funnel. How can you include something that's going to be specific to your brand by giving it a unique name? Before we move on to step 3, if you love content marketing and messaging, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I'm putting up more videos like this every single week. Step 3 of the sales funnel process is the decision. It's time for your audience to make a decision to buy. And when they come to the page, they're going to have objections, reasons why maybe this isn't going to work for them, or maybe they don't have what it takes, or there's something around them that's blocking them from doing it. And that falls into 3 different categories of false beliefs: a vehicle false belief, an internal false belief, and an external false belief. And it's your job, it's our job as marketers to become good at overcoming objections. And the way we do that is through stories, or by also providing them more opportunities to help them overcome those objections, which is where I want to teach you about my don't miss the bus strategy. Now, bus is an acronym for bonus, urgency, scarcity. And this is how we help to overcome any objections. Let's look at the B in the bus strategy. So B is for bonus. Is there a way that you can incentivize them to act fast or to sign up and get involved by giving them a bonus if they do so? We say, hey, if you sign up before Friday at midnight, you're also going to get this. Maybe it's a breakthrough strategy intensive call with me, or I'm also going to give you this course valued at $10,000, but only if you sign up before this time. And so it creates this incentive for them to take action. Now, the U in the don't miss the bus strategy is for urgency, and they kind of all go hand in hand. See how I mentioned if you sign up before this time, you can also use urgency as in, hey, the doors are closing Friday at midnight. That creates some tension that they have to make a decision quickly. They have to move. They're going to miss the bus if they don't take that action. So if you give them that opportunity, say, hey, it's closing at this time, that creates that urgency, makes them want to act fast. The S in the don't miss the bus strategy is for scarcity. And I'm sure you've experienced this yourself when maybe there was something you want to buy and there were only a few left. Maybe it's concert tickets, maybe it's plane tickets. You ever been booking a flight and says there's only 2 seats left on this plane? Well, if you want to be on that plane, you got to buy it pretty quickly. So how can you create ethical bonuses, urgency, and scarcity? And I say ethical for a reason. If we say that there's only 5 spots left, or we say that the doors are closing Friday at midnight and the doors never close, and there always seems to be spots available, and your audience sees that, they begin to trust you less, and that can damage the intimacy, the relationship they have with you, and maybe prevent them from purchasing in the future. So if you're going to create bonuses, urgency, and scarcity, make sure they are accurate, make sure they are true. If you're saying the door's closing Friday at midnight, close it Friday at midnight. You can always reopen it next month, and that creates a whole new level of bonuses, urgency, and scarcity next time you launch. And the 4th step is action. This is where your audience takes action. They put in their credit card, they put in their information, they make the purchase, they take the sale, and they move forward, and you get to fulfill. Now, this is really important for you to make simple, that they're not confused or overwhelmed with the process of filling that out. Sometimes that means maybe if you're on a call with them, you hold their hand through it, you walk them through it step by step, maybe you do it for them, but that's not always possible because maybe they're just going to a page themselves and you're not even communicating with them. So it's our job to also make the process as simple as possible, that maybe the text is outlined very clearly, that there's not all these different options. It's just this step 1, step 2, step 3. And then the next step in action for you to take is to make sure that your fulfillment is simple for you too. Maybe you have it integrated with your email marketing software so that it automatically sends them an email. Things are automated for them to get action or to get access to what you just sold them. And then that way, you can scale this. Could you imagine if every time someone bought something, maybe you had to manually send that email? There's ways that you can automate that, and it's going to simplify your life and make the customer journey so much more enjoyable. Now that you know the most important parts of a sales funnel that I mentioned, what if I told you that I could actually take all the heavy lifting off of you, that I can actually give you access to some of my Jaxx share funnels for free? Not only that, I'm also going to give you some video trainings to show you how you can implement them so you're set up for success, that you get these funnels implemented and converting. If you click the link below, you'll get access to those absolutely free.